These are the 10 best cards out of Paldea Evolved. What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. Let's jump right in. So some context. I figured I'd jump in for those of you out of the loop. For those of you in the loop, just a little bit of a refresher. Paldea Evolved is our second main set in the Scarlet and Violet generation. It introduces our starters, it introduces some of the legendary Pokemon, and it introduces some phenomenal comeback mechanics. There's a lot to like. So when does this set come out? June 9th. My birthday is the 13th. It feels like a birthday set. I'm ecstatic, I'm excited. Could not be more stoked for this set, and there's a lot of good things to come out. So there's 193 cards in the main set, plus secret rares. Not even going to dwell on the secret rares, there's a little bit of everything. This is by far the best set in years. This is not hyperbole, this is not exaggeration. You will see why in this list. I had a hard time narrowing it down to 10 because there's a lot of good cards in this set. I've been playing for 6 years, and I do dare say this is on par with the last best sets that we've seen in the competitive format. Guardians Rising, Burning Shadows, both of them dropped in 2017. It's been that long since we've had a set of this power. So enough of that, enough of the hype. I'm not going to go down memory lane. We're just going to jump right in. So first up, we've got our honorable mentions. As I said, I could have done a top 15. I could have done a top 20. I could have done a top 25. This set is loaded. These cards here would have made the list had they not been reprints. First up, Charm of Courage gives your basic Pokemon 50 additional hit points. That basic Pokemon cap out at 220, bumping them up to 270 or 280, nice. Functional reprint of Cape of Toughness that just rotated out of format, so it doesn't count. Superior Energy Retrieval. I never played with this card in standard format, however I know it's a staple in expanded, so you may discard 2 cards from your hand and grab up to 4 basic energy from your discard pile and put them into your hand, but you can't grab a card that you discarded to use this first card's effect. So that's going to play into some other cards that are coming out in this set, which are also functional reprints, but again, a little different, or they're new to me or many players that started in the Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield era. And then last but not least, the Game Changer, Super Rod. Shuffle up to 3 in any combination of your Pokemon and basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. Right now we're making Miriam work, we're making Clara work. Hell, we're not even playing Recovery, we're just playing more copies of our cards. Super Rod lets you free up spots, or get a little creative, or protect yourself, be a little defensive. Super Rod is a lot of value. These are all cards that very well could have made the top 10, but because I'm treating them as reprints and not new cards, they don't make the cut. Right into number 10. In at number 10, Artisan. Once during your turn, that player may search their deck for a basic Pokemon without a rule box and place it onto their bench. Nest Ball in stadium form. However, there's another card that it blends in. Brooklet Hill from that aforementioned Guardians Rising set that I said had a lot of powerful cards 6 years ago. So it's a Nest Ball and Brooklet Hill smashed together and grabbing non-rule box basics. So as the game shifts towards a evolving format where you start with a 1 prizer and work your way up to your 2 prizer, this card, in my opinion, and that's what this list is, opinion, a staple. You want to buy it? Highly recommend. This is something I pick up 4 of, or buy a couple copies or a handful for your decks. Always good to have. Consistency never hurts. In at number 9, Therapy Energy. So touching grass wasn't good enough for some of us TCG players. They had to go out and give us an energy card. Jokes aside, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless energy. Nothing really there. However, it's the next line of text. The Pokemon this card is attached to cannot be put to sleep, confused, or paralyzed. If it is affected by one of these conditions, remove it. So these are some notable status condition inflictors in format. There is poison, there is other things, but you'll know these ones very quickly. They inflict paralysis. So in order to get out of that, you have to switch. And the key deck this will see play in is anything playing Snorlax. Snorlax puts itself to sleep after doing 180. 180 on a 1 prizer is a very strong attack. Snorlax is now a valid 180 1 prize attacker. So that means Snorlax has found a new partner in Lugia. Archeops can search these out on command. Snorlax can be your 1 prize attacker. Lugia is about to evolve again. It had its Aurora build, it had its single strike build. It is now going to go all colorless. So that is another card. It is deck specific. Therapy Energy does not belong in every deck, even though we all do need to touch some grass from time to time. This is only going to see play in decks that can utilize it effectively. Next up, number 8. Rolling in, Scarada EX, the only starter from Paldea Evolved that actually makes my top 10 list. The other ones are good, they're just not quite there. For its ability, it's a 310 hit point 2 prize Pokemon. Once during your turn, you can discard a grass energy from your hand and put 3 damage counters on your opponent's benched Pokemon. So, that's a very good ability. We do need the energy. The superior energy retrieval we mentioned earlier does help this card when you get multiple set up. And for 2 colorless energy, Nail Scratch does 100 damage, and if your opponent's active has any damage counters on it, it does an additional 120 damage. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Scarada is familiar, and you'd be correct. Inteleon VMAX is a current Tier 2 threat that has an almost identical ability. Slightly different, but a much lower damage cap. It's almost like they took Inteleon and smashed it together with Hisuian Samurott V-Star.
What is this? A crossover episode?
So we get the strengths of Hisuian Samurott, as it literally hits for the same amount of damage, with the ability of Inteleon VMAX. So this is looking like a really good card, and it evolves from a 1-prizer, so you're not overly concerned about your basics being knocked out, because you can replenish them, you can set them up. Where do I think this falls? I do think this is a contender. It is not a tier 1 contender, but it is a contender. It will take advantage of the game as things evolve forward. Next up, we've got number 7, Spiritomb. It is a psychic 1-prize Pokemon with the ability, as long as this Pokemon is in play, could be anywhere, basic Pokemon V in play, both yours and your opponents have no abilities. It's another way to tackle Mew. Drapion still has not killed off Mew. Spiritomb attacks Mew in a different way. Drapion goes for the offensive, Spiritomb goes for the defensive by taking out the best draw engine in the game, and it's not even close. All of those Genesect, they can't do anything. They can't provide anything other than the Technoblast attack. And then your opponent has to deal with Spiritomb. So if you're disrupting their hand, or you drop this down when you know they don't have a boss left, Spiritomb can lock them out of the game. Who needs Path to the Peak? I think it's only deck tech at best. We've got number 6 going. Luxray, a 1-prize Pokemon that evolves. It's a stage 2 Pokemon, Vibrant Flash. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in your hand and you have more prizes remaining than your opponent, so if you're losing the game, you may play this onto your bench without evolving it. Ooh, okay. So, Lightning Weakness. Very good. These 3 top dogs are looking to see a substantial amount of play going into the next set. Lugia, we just talked about, still very good. Flying Pikachu deals with Lost Box. Palkia just got its League Battle deck and some upgrades in this set. All of them are weak to lightning, so Luxray is a nice card to have. But Brandon, I know what you're thinking. You do have Mirage Gate, yes. So Luxray and Raikou both can use Mirage Gate effectively. It does require 1 more energy, but your trade-off is that you're a 1-prizer. Not bad. So you can make them take 6 prizes in your deck. The other card introduced in this set that makes it a more feasible include into most decks, Reversal Energy. It's another card utilized when you're losing the game. It provides 3 energy to any non-rule box evolution Pokemon. Not bad. I think that's pretty nice. So depending on how you want to tailor your deck, Luxray is a nice card I think that's worth including. However, it's very specific. So you have to be a believer. You have to accommodate it, but it's a very good card. You could splash it in Lugia for the mirror. You can splash it in Lost Box for any lightning weak decks. Potential is there. Plus, as the metagame develops, we could see a couple sets down the line something weak to this, and this just kind of sneaks in, deals with it rather quickly. Number 5, we've hit the halfway point. If you're still here and you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Number 5, Jet Energy. So as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless energy. When you attach this card from your hand to one of your benched Pokemon, switch that bench one with your active. That's an attachment and a switch card. That's a 2-for-1. So right now the card pool is a little limited. Anything that provides 2-in-1 effects where you get multiple purposes out of it only gets better with time. The 2 key decks that I see right now that's fitting into almost seamlessly, would be anything Lost Box, because they want to be throwing their comfies around. And, you know, a colorless energy doesn't really matter in the early stages, but that switch effect is very nice and comfy. Expect to see 2 to 3. Heck, even if a turbo build emerges, they might play 4. It's a good card to have. And of course, Lugia. So keep in mind, if it's accelerated through Primal Turbo, it does not count to get the bench effect. But if you draw into it, my Lugia is playing Escape Rope. If I can swap out the Escape Ropes for Jet Energy, upping my natural energy count and keeping my Switch cards, I'm gonna take it. I think it's a staple. It's a buy now staple, because there will be decks that utilize it, or it will just find its way in the same way Capture Energy did, and people were scrambling to get their hands on them. So pick them up never. Excalibur, number 4. Yes, it is a reprint. Blastoise Deluge. Its ability says, as often as you like during your turn, you can attach basic water energy from your hand to your Pokemon. So in any way you like. Frostmoth is not the same, it's not comparable. Excalibur unlocks water decks with all of the support in format. We have Radiant Greninja, which can be your backbone. We have Superior Energy Retrieval, so we have access to the Moonlight Shuriken and the concealed cards in this deck. And we don't even have to worry about it being a stage 2, because Irida can grab a water Pokemon and an item card. So in my early testing, just getting 1 Frigibax on the board and an Irida in your hand, and then all of a sudden your deck is unlocked and popping, and you don't even remember that it's a stage 2. So Excalibur opens itself up to a ton of water box type decks. And then, oh my goodness, Chien-Pao. So Chien-Pao is one of the legendary ruin creatures in this set. It is a 220 hit point water Pokemon that lets you search for 2 water energy out of your deck and put them into your hand if it's sitting in the active spot. It's not a hard once per turn, so you can search them with Chien-Pao, move it out of the active, and then absolute 0 and put them there. Or you can put them directly onto the Chien-Pao. You thin your deck to improve your consistency, and you're getting acceleration. That Excalibur can easily set up, that Irida seamlessly sets up. And Hail Blade does 60 damage times the number of water energy you choose to discard. So you have a nuke. You have an energy searching nuke. And then you have an energy accelerating dragon ice dino thingy. This is a meta contender. Buy it now, or wait until July when the theme deck comes out and you get both of these guys. I'd pick up 2 of them. Must buys. Must buys. They will be good for the foreseeable future. Number 3, let's go. All right, Reversal Energy. So we briefly touched upon it, but this is another game-changing card. This is a healthy include. This is a comeback mechanic in energy form. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless. Okay, so you get a basic attachment out of it. However, if you are losing the game, so you have more prizes remaining than your opponent, and it's attached to an evolution Pokemon that does not have a rule box, so they are very specific. You're not just seamlessly throwing this into Lugia and calling it a day. It provides 3 energy of any type. Oh, gee, I wonder what applications they have in mind for that. Come on now. Probably the most popular deck in our current format, and arguably one of the best decks in the next format. Gardevoir. This one here lets you bring Gardevoir up to, this thing hits for 330 if you're behind, so you can up trade and come back. You don't need that silly Zacian play or Skyseal Snow. You can just play into your consistency. Play a second Gardevoir, play more rare candy, like Reversal Energy got you. Big fan. And I know the comments would come after me if I didn't mention them. There are some rogue decks that will take advantage of this, that have weird attack costs or triple energy costs. Wug Trio might be the best time now because it mills and decks are very fast. So flip 3 coins, mill 3 cards for each heads you get. Could be, something. Not really a fan of coin flip cards. Zoroark, again, opens the potential. Zorobox is back. Reversal Energy is there. You don't mind falling behind. You have DTE and you have Reversal. And it's just reminiscent of Counter Energy, another Sun and Moon staple. I figured I would mention it, but better. Paldea Evolved is going to be a good set for the game. Staple. Buy it before it's hard to find. If it's overpriced, wait. Don't buy pre-release prices. Don't do that. Bad idea. But pick them up. You'll want them. There will be a deck that'll catch your eye, and if you're playing Gardevoir, you've probably already got them on pre-order, because I know I do. Number 2, Squawkabilly EX. Show off. Once during your first turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can only use 1 show off ability each turn. And Psych Up for 1 energy does 20 and attaches 2 basic energy from your discard pile. Okay, so I can see where that synergizes. It's kind of like Koraidon, what Koraidon should have been. Looks kind of familiar. Uh-oh, he's back.
No! God, please, no!
Dene GX. This card, when it released 4 years ago, warped the game in an unhealthy way. Essentially, it had the same ability, but it only worked when you played it from your hand onto your bench. Discard your hand, draw 6, but you weren't capped to 1 on the first turn of the game. So it's balanced off like a battle VIP pass. So they smashed up a Dedenne and a VIP pass to give us a discard your hand, draw 6 that's not a supporter. That's not bad. You can nest ball Squawkabilly. You couldn't nest ball Dedenne. I do like where this is going. I like the potential. A sleeper card that I'm thinking now, Thornton. This might sneak its way into Lugia, because again, if you're playing Thornton, you can, once you use it, dig a little deeper, you know, establish your setup, for example. This works in a couple other decks, but Lugia is the one that's coming to mind. Establish your setup, and then Thornton into something else, or Collapse Stadium, push it off the bench. Just saying. Battle VIP Pass sees a 4 of. I wouldn't be surprised for 2 of them into the deck. So, what do I think of it? Depending on the price. If the price is right, it's a staple, pick it up. This is my second best card. It doesn't seem like it now, but watch. We don't know what's coming in August. We don't know what's coming in November or for our next block. This card will only improve with time. It'll start slow and pick up. Last but not least, we have our number 1. And if you want to argue with me on this one, I've got something to tell you.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute.
One on our list, Iona. Each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If either player does this and puts cards on the bottom of their deck, both players will draw a card for each prize card they have remaining. It's happening. He's back.
Hey, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone?
And mixed with everybody's favorite, Marnie. So, before you come for me in the comments and say this is a bad card, I hate it, Marnie, blah, 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 this is what we needed. We needed N. If they want to jam the end effect of Marty, you don't have to worry about your opponent having game-winning boss, shuffling it into their deck and getting it back. Iona's very healthy and plays in almost every single deck. It fixes engines for Inteleon. It can be useful in Lugia. It can be played in Lost Box. It can be played in Mew. It can be played in Scarada. Gardevoir fixes their draw engine. This is a good card. We needed this card. This is what the community's been begging for since I started. I started in 2017, and as soon as this card rotated, people were begging for it to come back. They finally gave it back to us in some shape or form, and the game is better off for it. So what do I think? Buy this now. It's a staple. It is a Professor's Research Boss's Orders level strength staple. Buy this now. I'm putting in orders as soon as I get the chance for like 8-9 play sets of this card, because this will be a good card as a 4 of. I've got like 12 lists on the way that I'll show you this down the line, playing this card at a heavy count. So with that said, if you stuck to the end, let me know what you think. Do you disagree with any of the 10 through 2s? One is definitive, best by a mile. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out future videos. Until next time, guys, take care.